Good evening. Today is Wednesday, January 30th, 2013, and you're watching the Jessa Channel on YouTube. I'm Jessa, and today we're back in Acanthop Isle. Specifically, we're here at the new tiny little post office. I don't know if Acanthop Isle has a zip code. I don't know. If you have a good zip code that Acanthop can have, that would be cute. One for the mainland and one for Acanthop Isle. Anyway, this is the new post office of which Lex Hennessy is coming for his first day of work. First thing I wanted to show you guys before we get into doing a quick decoration. These post offices, once again, are by plastic box. They are... Ugh. Now, unfortunately, finding out where they are, I think I ripped these out of one of her 2 hoods that she made and put up for download. All of Plastic Box's things are available on Mod The Sims 2, so anything that I have of Plastic Boxes I got from there. But I'm not sure if this is up for download. I have a feeling it's probably part of Elsewhere or Middle Ground that I went in and took out some lots that I liked when I needed more lots for Acanthop. And this is called Foursquare Northwest. This is... Let's see if I can go all the way around. This is Foursquare Northeast, meaning that this direction is north, west, east, south. This is Foursquare Southeast and Foursquare Southwest. And the Foursquare came up with the fact that there are, look at that, 4 squares. See how I worked that out? Isn't that genius? You like that? Okay. Anyway, so this is basically the downtown of the mainland. And I liked the idea of the mainland downtown being these tiny little different shops with these 2 trees in the middle. These trees, as far as the history I have determined, is the last, some of the, in order for the immigrants or native people or whoever settled this land, the settlers, kept these 2 trees here. This whole island was full of trees like you see in the background there, if you can just see without me going into a building, up in the hill and all that. There. Look at that. Oh, look at all those beautiful trees. Yay! I'm a tree hugger. I love trees. I live in an area that has trees very similar to this in the Pacific Northwest. Anyway, so and once again, to get that little look up there, what I just did was I hit the tab key. Even though long-term simmers know this stuff, I'm always assuming that people are coming in and maybe haven't played the sim game before, or not that familiar with how to play it. Although if you're not familiar with it at all, you've been living under a rock for the last 13 years. But anyway, but yeah, so in my sort of history that I've made up, these 2 trees were some of the original trees standing, like the trees that we just saw on the hillsides behind the mainland. And they kept it there when they settled, and that these 4 squares here were the original 4 plots of the settlers. And then as they became more affluent and were able to build, they moved off of these tiny little shacks and made bigger houses like this wonderful apartment lot, which is by Plastic Box, that I'll be putting some Sims in eventually. And just so you know, this is the house that Lex Hennessy lives in with Sienna, who is now waiting to have her baby that we just saw in the last episode. So let me show you what I have in mind with Foursquare Northwest, which I'm going to change the name of and put it as Foursquare the post office. But anyway, this lovely little place here. Let me turn these lights on because I like to have lights you can see. But yeah, this is the and I still have that problem with custom content not completely showing up. But by the way, I was mentioning that in the last episode when doing Sienna's baby's room, and the way that you fix problems like that is using the 50-50 method. If you're a custom content person, or if you are just now getting into custom content, this is a very important little trick to know in order to fix problems like that. Since things, have not been like that in my downloads folder for a long time, that knows that it's something recent, something I've done in the last few months that caused that problem. So the first thing to do is to have a hood, an empty hood, that you just have a sim in that has no custom content on it, just sitting on an empty lot. And you start out with the 50-50 method. Basically, you take out 50% of your downloads and leave the other 50% in and open it up and see if the cribs still look like that. And then if they do, it's not in that 50%, and then you take the other 50%. And you just do that until you figure out what the problem is. Because it's affecting so many different items, I suspect that this is a problem with a default item, meaning that defaults are things that you can download that replace a standard Maxis object. And defaults are a great way to be able to get a lot of different custom content in without having a huge custom content folder with all the recolors and the meshes, as a default file is just one file. So you can download a default file that, for example, replaces all of the bedding. That came with Maxis bedding. So if you don't like that, you can make new bedding and default it. Anyway, I have a suspicion that it's a default. So the first thing I would do is take out my defaults folder and load up the game with just custom content cribs in and see if that problem remains. And then if it does, I know it's where it is, and I know how to take out the folders I most recently added until I find out what the problem is. And when I do have a problem like that, and I do find out what the problem is, I'll make sure and let you guys know in Let's Plays. Well, I will do my best to remember. So over here we have a tiny little bathroom, tucked in with all you need. I love this shower. It's a simple get the job done shower. I also like that when the Sims, this is the cheap base game shower, and I like very much that if another Sim is in the bathroom and flushes the toilet, the Sim's water goes cold. Let's get these lights out of here. Not my favorite lights. And back here we have just a little kind of employee area, which I'm going to keep available just for Lex to go back here. And then up front here is where he'll do his selling from. Now, because I'm not going to sell food, I'm going to get rid of these Decra Chill is what they're called, displays by Refrigifreeze. I didn't name it. That's Maxis all for you. And I'm just going to replace these two counters. Actually, these counters are islands, so I'm going to take these out because the Sims will try and eat on these. I don't want them to. An island is marked as a place for a Sim to eat. And I'm going to put Snap Objects to Grid back on. And I might change this counter. Let's see. I don't want that counter because it has a back lip here, sitting up at the back there. And it doesn't look like the type of counter I want to go for a kind of open air post office place like this. Now you might be thinking, well, Jessa, in the wintertime the Sims are going to be cold. And the answer is, yeah. I know. But my storyline is that Lex, not Rex, can't... they're starting off with a small post office. It's a small population. The Elder Council did not want to spend a lot of money on something that, they don't need a big fancy post office right now. I'm looking for... There are these counters that I have somewhere in the back of my memory. If I remember, they have boxes on them. This is one example of a counter with stuff in it. That's bathroom supplies. That, by the way, is the Battersea counter by Padre 333, and that is available. The Battersea set is available on TSR. So my brain is telling me I had some counters with some boxes on them. and I blah 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 blah. Blah bloof. Blah blah. This might be a good shop counter to go for. This is not available online anymore. Ah, here, this is what I'm thinking about. I knew I had some. There we go. I knew I had some counters with some. Tell me I didn't have any counters with any. I know I did. So you guys tell I'm feeling a bit punchy today. Tell me. And I'm just trying to get a counter that looks like it would be, you know, outside in an open air little post office place. The other reason why I'm going for a small post office is that, yes, it is, here we go, this is perfect. Yes, it is, of course, possible that we could, do I want to do like this? That we could go for a big post office and all of that, and that would be, you know, that would work. Oh, I know what I'll do. But then, if you start out with everything already fancy made top of the line for your neighborhood, you have nowhere to grow and you have no satisfaction that comes from having... Take that big fridge out of there. Having built your hood up from, you know, we can go back and remember the days when Lex started out in that tiny little one-room shack of a post office and then moved up in the world, and so that's another reason why I like to do that. Okay, so there, simple little space there. There's also a, yeah, we can use that. And now I'm going to put in, so that the one thing I'm concerned about here is whether Sims are going to constantly try and walk into this building from behind, the, you know, in front of these counters, if these counters provide enough of a block. It's at moments like this that I wish that there was a window that one could use as kind of a counter that Sims could talk through and interact through, like a post office window. But anyway, the only way to find out is to set it up and playtest it. That's why we set up lots like this and playtest, playtest, playtest. So in the previous episode, which I'm recording these back to back, which is why I remember what I was saying, but for you guys it will have been 24 hours. But for those of you guys just coming in listening to this, I was talking about some tips I could give you on being a good Let's Player. And this counter's gonna give me trouble. It's just gonna give me trouble. It just has to. Okay, is this? I like this song. So I was talking about being a Let's Player. That doesn't look right at all. That ain't the right look. I'm not losing my train of thought again, I promise. I am simply thinking. I'm working on it. I'll tell you guys. When I tell you I'm going to work on something, I work on it. Well, I try at least. So the trick is to find out what counters these are. This is the Chicolatina Fjord all-purpose counter. So, is that custom content? That has to be. That's the only reason why. But I know this is part of a... Nope, it's Maxis. Look at that! Maxis is not allowing me to put a sink in here. Can you believe that? What's the world coming to? But it just so turns out that there's a counter over here that is matching that. I'm imagining that this counter came, yeah, it came with Nightlife, and this counter came, the same type of counter came with base game. So I'm guessing that somebody kind of screwed up there. Now if I put that in there like that, let's do this. So we still have, I want some of these boxes to be seen so it looks like a real post office back here with boxes waiting on the counter. So I was talking about earlier in the episode about being a Let's Player and how important it is to not just copy someone else, not just try and be like someone else. It's great that someone has inspired you. And I don't think anyone has tried to copy me. I'm not talking about me specifically, but I am talking about one of the common mistakes that's made as a Let's Player in the beginning. I did not actually get into Let's Playing from the standpoint, oh, that's fantastic. Buggy Booze to the rescue again. Damn. One of these days I'm going to write her a letter, I swear, and tell her I talk about her in her Let's Play every single flippin' episode. I'm going to write it out just like that. Every single flippin' episode. What else was back here? A phone. And so, I think my number one tips for being a great Let's Player would be to find the thing that you find fun. I love simming. And I swear, if I could find a way to become a professional simmer, I would straight up be all over that. Like white on rice, I'd be nuts on that. I jest you not. Okay, these counters aren't going to work. I give up. They were bugging me because they were. Some Maxis person did not do those counters well. For shame. So yeah, being yourself is very, very important, as I mentioned in the previous episode. The other thing that's important is to understand that Let's Playing is work, and you need to be willing to put out high quality content. By high quality, that means audio content that's high quality. I work hard on my audio. I'm finally relatively satisfied with it. I started out with an inexpensive Logitech microphone that I used for Let's Playing for months, and for live streaming for months. And like I said, my background is not from watching Let's Plays. My background is from live simming. And so I'm just trying to think of what's the next most important thing. He has this, but I'm going to swap this out for something fancy, because I feel like Lex would want a fancier. Cash registers are in. This is what I'm going for. This cash register I use a lot. It's swankin'. It's by Line Good, G-U-D. It's available at TSR. I'm going to put that over here. So, actually, I'm going to move that over here. So, let me show you, if I can remember, how we do the post office, because there's a way. I've just got to remember what it is. Here it is. By PC Sims, Katie76. Let's do it. This guy just has to. I have to make sure that the NPC who's going to show up for this is has a good place to stand. And I think I'm going to delete this table because there's not going to be. Well, actually, the only thing I can think of for eating, because I like to have something for Sims to eat on every lot. And just so that they can get a little snack or something. So I'm going to put the phone. The trash can is going to. I like the idea of the trash can just being right outside the kitchen door. And then here goes the phone. And Sims will be able to actually buy parcels to send to other Sims. I'll show you how that works after we get this set up. And then over here, I'm going to put, and we'll see how this works. For me, one of the things about playtesting that's so important, I'm thinking that the vending machines are in appliances miscellaneous. I don't know. And I'm so wrong. About playtesting is that to make sure that things work well and that you don't have things that are clashing each other for autonomy. Okay, so Hey peeps, where do you guys know where the vending machines are? I'm so gonna have, look at this ice cream fountain. It actually works and the Sims can actually buy ice cream from it. Although those cones look a bit sickly from the top there. But anyway, that big black mark on. But yeah, but that's not going on here right now. I don't know where the vending machines are. I'm gonna try, as always, my fail-safe category when I can't find anything. Miscellaneous. Miscellaneous. Because it's gotta be somewhere miscellaneous if I can't find it. Oh, and also let me bring out, because the other thing this is gonna have for sale is magazines. I have some recolored magazines. I'm gonna throw this white one up here. And I'll put it over here because it'll be a real stretch trying to figure out how I'm gonna get it in there. get somebody to be able to buy it. So I will go on with the Let's Playing tips I was giving you while I'm trying to think of where the flippin' heck the vending machines are. And I can, if you guys are yelling at me, you know, through the screen, it's in such and such section, I can't hear you. So sorry. And then of course, because I haven't found it the first time in miscellaneous, I get stubborn and look again just to make sure. It has to be here. Let's try party. I'm just thinking of where it might logically be placed. I've already looked in the place where it would logically be. Appliances? No, I mean I looked in appliances. Electronics? That's what I'm thinking. Ah! Electronics miscellaneous. Okay, there you go, kids, if you ever want to know where the vending machines are. There's the soda machine. That looks like a Starbucks coffee thing, doesn't it? That looks exactly like Starbucks coffee. I wonder if Starbucks paid them for that. Oh, no. I'm not a fan of pink, to be absolutely honest. I mean, just force it out of me. It would be so great if I could fit this in between these. Let's see if I can do it. Although, you know, even though this makes absolutely no difference to the sim, I hate the idea of having this window covered. I think one of the reasons why that is, I mean, not that I would ever do that from this tiny room, but a lot of my best pictures come from looking out of the window. If you guys have been to the JessaChannel.com recently, you would have seen a picture I posted of Sheriff Fletcher and Constable Jeremiah having breakfast in the jailhouse top floor in their jailhouse loft. And the view from the jailhouse is bomb diggity. Bomb diggity. It's awesome, is what I'm trying to say. And it shows the wharf where the ships come in from the run to the mainland. There we go. Yeah, I'm content with that. That looks good. Even though it sticks out to the side, it doesn't look too silly. The only other thing I could do is take this out here and stick it in like that. But I have a feeling I'm going to need that counter. In fact, I'm almost positive that I need that counter because there's more things I want to sell here. There's also going to be a bank which will have some services like being able to fax other Sims, as I do have a fax machine. So I'm just thinking off the top of my head what else needs to go in here. That's the customer adjuster, which I put in every lot. Speaking of which, I also need to get the good old business runs you hammer and sickle out. There we go. And, oh great, it goes up with the wall. Oh, that's fantastic. I never knew that. Perfect. And then I want to make sure and set that to invisible. Which I should have just pick the invisible recolor so I didn't spend an extra 15 simoleons doing that, but okay. I can live with the pain. So, coming together here. The other aspect of being, that I would recommend for those of you looking to start out Let's Playing, especially Sims 2 Let's Playing, is to do, you know, I'd love to see a really good Let's Play Legacy, for example. You know, you don't have to do what I'm doing, which is building an entire hood. I mean, that's just what I enjoy doing, so that's why I'm doing it. But there's a lot of different things. You could do a short Let's Play, for example, if you don't want to commit to a full-on Let's Play experience. You could, for example, I'm gonna fill this in over here because we'll need all the space we can get. You could, for example, do a Let's Play about, that's a short one, that's only intended to last a few months, and is a legacy one, or an apocalypse challenge is another one. You could just make yours a challenge station, for example. That's another idea. I was asked by, and I don't remember whom right now, but I'm going to go check in just a second. So let's see if that, because I still want to have some place for people to sit down and have their soda, so I'm moving this table over to make the, free up this area for a line to grow, for the registers. And yeah, that makes logical sense. I am also noticing things like, for example, these magazines will get a little wet if it's raining, but we'll just have to kind of pretend there's an awning over here. I mean, there are awnings in the game. I could put one, but I like the roof line of this and don't want to mess with it. So, we will have to pretend that this little, lip here over the top of the newspaper rack is keeping them dry. You know, you have to have a little bit of creative license, I guess. Hey, tree in my face. There's so many trees in Acanthop that I spend most of my, as you can see, this lovely tree, these trees here, which I love. And I have a tendency, as you can see, to group them into 2, or sometimes 3, for more visual interest, because trees do tend to grow next to each other. But there's so many of them in Acanthop that I'm frequently running smack dab into them with my camera. So think outside the box. You know, there's a lot that can be done with The Sims 2, and the main reason that I am in it, besides the fact that I love it, is because I want to keep the love and appreciation for The Sims 2 alive. People are going on to The Sims 3 now, which is fantastic. It's in many ways a very popular game, but I don't want The Sims 2 community to die, and I want to keep that love alive, even if people aren't still playing The Sims 2. But they are enjoying watching this Let's Play, and it's keeping their memories alive of the enjoyment that they had. I'm all for it. Now, the next thing to put up is some blah blah blah, or some blah blah blahs. Dig what I'm saying? Because I don't. If you know what I'm saying, can you let me know? Because I don't know. Postcard Rack. It's by Numenor. It's at Mod The Sims 2. And he has several editions, and I should say Numenor and Mary Lou. Mary Lou, another really great modder. Didn't do a lot of stuff. Most of the stuff she did was with Numenor. And they are both, as far as I know, they are from Italy, I imagine. I don't know if they are Italian, but anyway. I believe Numenor was. Postcard Rack All-Purpose Edition. Tropical Island Edition. Far East Edition. And this one should be the Mountain Edition. And then we also have Christmas and Greetings. So I'm going to put the all-purpose one out. It is, first, one of the most amazing things about it is that it can be a rack that stands up like this, or it can go right on a counter like that, which is super. I'm going to put it on the counter right now, and let me take this down. And see how that works out. You'll be able to set these for sale. So you can bring a sim here, buy a postcard, send them a package. Like I said, it's a real working post office, as much as I'm able to get it to be one, using the mods that I have found over the years. Oh, and also let me put a bathroom uses you. Oh, but if I do that, it'll call other Sims. So I better not do that. Because I don't want... This bathroom is not available to the public. I suppose, though, come to think on it, there's no good reason why I can't make it available to the public by simply going like this and taking this and sticking it there, which puts it dreaded in front of my... Does that add any light? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I can take this and just stick it there, and now it's a public restroom. Hey, cool. Simple. And now I can put the toilet paper of fame and fortune. And I'm going to take this light out of here because you guys know how much I can't stand this light except in the jail. I'll put another light in there when I do the light section, do the light part of the day. And I'm going to take the shower out and put a plain old sink in because I don't feel like anyone's going to need to use a shower on this lot. I'm just trying to look for a simple pedestal sink. This is my favorite go-to sink, but I don't think you would have a toothbrush sitting on a sink in a public bathroom. I mean, not a toothbrush that anyone would ever stick in their mouth. And I tend to go for pedestal sinks just to save me the bother of getting the counter out and the expense. And my favorite sink for this is from the Simplicity collection. I have a huge amount of that collection. That doesn't really... I'm just trying to find something that says public restroom. This episode is presented in parts. To see the next part, click on the next annotation in the top right corner of the video. If the next part has not been uploaded yet, it will be tomorrow. So if you want to see it, subscribe.